Hi, what's up? How was everybody's weekend? Alright, I definitely took myself a spa break, a mental health break. Everybody needs that. Alright, so this topic is going to be one that I'm sure not everybody necessarily wants to adhere to, but we got to talk about it, right? We're going to talk about everything. And I want to dedicate this to Queen Anna, my love, because she asked me to talk about more spiritual things. So this goes along with that, okay? I wanted to talk about just really having better, or let's say, let me rephrase. I want to talk about maybe like abstaining in some way, shape, or form, or having better sexual choices and better sexual discernment. Better sexual discernment. Especially after narc abuse, right? Why? Come on. Now, let's talk about the fact that we already know they're like a whole demon out here. For real. For real. For real. A lot of them, which I'll make a video about possession and stuff like that, probably soon after this one. That might be the next one. But because they need a soul tie in order to hook in a victim, I would say that's the number one reason why you need to have sexual discernment, especially after you've experienced narc abuse. Because what's their number one weapon? It's sex. And I know a lot of people don't want to admit it, like, that wasn't me, it wasn't me. Well, it was me. I'll just go with the flow on my account. I didn't have sex with him, like, immediately, but I didn't wait long enough to see who he really, really was before having sex with him. That is a major ass mistake. It's a major issue. Because had I waited long enough, okay, he would have weeded himself out, and a lot of that shit that I went through, all of that shit would have been, like, avoided, right? But it wasn't, because I was already locked in. Now, it doesn't have to be so-called good sex to be locked in. No, the first time we had sex, I remember looking at him, but I don't remember it to be, like, amazing or anything. It's just the fact that you are having it. As soon as someone taps into your body, or you tap into their body, you have now begun initiating a soul tie. That's with anybody. That's why one-night stands aren't really so smart to have, okay? Let me get this light out of my face. It's going to get a little darker, but it's just easier that way. Yeah. It's just, you don't want to establish a soul tie. And the fastest, quickest way to establish a soul tie with anybody is to have sex with them. Sex was obviously made to be a bond between a husband and a wife, or spouses, or whatever, right? But in today's society, we obviously try our shoes on before we buy them, right? Let's just be real. So, but the thing is, like, you know, not really monitoring who it is that you allow into your body, and who it is that you, whose body you're going into. You gotta monitor that shit. I chose abstinence from sex after narc abuse for quite some time. It's been like, I want to say like a year, maybe, almost, something like that, whatever. But I just, and not that I didn't have the opportunity. I've had multiple opportunities with like real sexy people, but it's like, that doesn't matter, because look at what happened the last time I went based on looks and, oh, your personality was funny or whatever, and then in the long run it turned out really shitty. You have to monitor that shit. So let's get into it. I was thinking about nightclubs the other day, right? And I was like, you know, I don't attend nightclubs, but even when you watch like a really good movie, what does it portray the nightclub to be? Right? The nightclub is always this upscale ass nightclub where there's a doorman, right? And the doorman gives you a once over and shit to see, like, do you even have on the right clothes to come up in here, right? And if you don't, they'd be like, yeah, you can't come in here. And I feel like if a nightclub can do that, why can't we do that with our, like, bodies? You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying treat your body like a nightclub, because that means there's, like, a whole line of people. But it might be a line of people that want to come in there. But you got to scan that shit, right? You got to give that shit the once over a couple of times. Nah, man, I don't accept that in my nightclub. You can't come in here. You know what I'm saying? If they can do that, we can do that with our bodies. You have to spiritually discern whether or not that person is allowed to enter into your body, or whether they're allowed to deserve you to enter their body. Like I've said 3 times thus far or more. It's a big deal. That sex is going to suck you in, create that soul tie. You're going to think you have a bond, some way, shape, or form. That sex is going to get you to get into your feels. That sex is what makes you give a shit about where they're at, who they're with, what they're doing while they're with whoever they're with, why they didn't come home. The fact that they're even not coming home means that they live with your ass, right? If you weren't having sex, let's be real, they wouldn't even be living with you. They wouldn't be living with you. Why would you move some dude or woman in your home that you are not fucking? For real. Why would they be in bed with you, eating your food, and having these long Netflix and chill conversations and sessions if you are not fucking them? Be real with yourself. Okay? You can't fuck everybody. Because you can't. Okay? You shouldn't, at least. You know what I'm saying? Look at how's that working for you thus far, right? Look at where it got you last time. Got you a whole narc out there. You cast your line into the water with the best bait on it and everything, and you caught a fucking, I don't know, one of them ugly, slimy, nighttime fishing fish. I used to go night fishing in Solomon's Island, and man, the ugliest shit was caught in the night. I'm sorry, but I mean, shit that you just like, you throw it back at me, like, what the fuck was that even? You know what I'm saying? Like, Discovery Channel should probably come and figure out what that was on the end of my line. I'm just gonna pretend I never saw it. Just fuck it, take some scissors and cut the whole line. I just get a new rod, whatever. But yeah, so that's how you gotta carry it. If a nightclub can have enough respect to be upscale to the point where they don't let you in unless you meet certain requirements, come on, man. You telling me your man wand, if that's what you want to call it, or your golden vajayjay, that you telling me we can't do that with that? Yes, we can. Okay? So as far as the spiritual aspect, it is spiritual. That's how they suck you in spiritually. That soul tie is totally and only created through sex, man. You have gotten, I'm not saying don't have sex ever again or anything like that. Like, who's about to be that extreme? But what I'm saying is, you really gotta watch it, because sex is really how we all got here in the first place. And anybody who says they didn't get here into a narcissistic, abusive relationship, other than with a parent, and I would hope sex wasn't involved in that, and if it was, that's a totally different video. My condolences to that. But for the majority of people that are dealing with the aftermath of narcissistic abuse, they wouldn't have been in that position had they never had sex with that narcissist. That shit clouded your judgment. It fucked up your brain, right? Got you all Twitter-pated like Bambi and shit. You know what I'm saying? Just because you thought you had a different... It establishes a different kind of connection. So I would suggest, take some time. Figure out who the fuck you are and who you are becoming and who you want to be. And who, you know, who you're not going to go back to being. And you can't do that if your brain is all foggy from busting random nuts with random strangers and shit. Okay? Damn, you know, if you just, I would say go through a round of holidays with someone before you have sex. At least go through like 3 holidays. Man, that narc wouldn't have made it one holiday. If you didn't have sex with them as quickly as you did, they wouldn't even made it to one holiday. And they would have excused themselves, which would have cost nothing because it would have saved us a lot of time and pain and misery, right? And soul ties are extremely hard to break. It takes a lot of work. You don't want to be working on that with a bunch of different people, baby. You barely want to be working on that shit with one. Okay? So I'm just suggesting that. Anyway, I wanted to touch base on that, about the sex thing. A lot of people don't talk about how you should kind of stop having sex for a while after being with a narc. I'm just going to say it out front. I mean, I know a lot of people love having sex, but, and I know it's not popular to say don't do it, but I would say don't do it for a while when you're healing and stuff like that. And really, really monitor what you do after you have healed. You don't want to put in a lot of work just to erase all of it over, like, I don't know how long people last now. Shit, if you're good at it, 10 minutes would be championship gold medalist, because people don't really last that long. You know what I mean? So, is 10 minutes really worth, like, a couple years of healing? No, I would say it's not. So, that's what my video is about today. I'm glad that I'm glad I got to talk to y'all about the nightclub thing, because I'm like, damn, nightclubs really got it a little bit better than we do. And you know what the narc kind of reminds me of, y'all? You got to remember this shit. They are like the guy that sneaks into the nightclub dressed in a full tuxedo, and then when they get inside the nightclub, really, their tuxedo whole time had them little Velcro strips in the back, like a fucking stripper. So when they get in the nightclub, they just grab the whole suit and go and rip it off, and they got on Speedos and a bow tie, and you're like, and no shoes and socks. You're like, where the fuck? And the bouncer's like, how the fuck you sneak in here? You know, because they dressed the part and acted the part, but once they got into the club, they ripped that shit off. It's like, ha, psych, my face isn't even real. I'm Itchy, the stripper from Bumfuck, whatever, right? Ha 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 ha. It's not even my real face. Those weren't real clothes. I was a whole whore underneath of this the whole time. Green Goblin style. Superman. God, no, not Superman. Spider-Man. Godspeed, Spider-Man. Godspeed, Spider-Man. You're gonna need that shit when Itchy the stripper breaks into your strip club and pulls that Velcro fucking tux off and goes, psych, I was a naked whore the whole time. Yeah, and plus you don't want to get them STDs and shit. There's so much shit out here, bruh. You got fuck mumps and measles. You got monkeypox. I'm sure there's donkey pox out there somewhere. Just got people making noises and shit. Sound like, you know, growing hooves or something. Somewhere. Somebody done fucked the wrong person, and now they woke up with hooves. Like, oh, like the Emperor's New Groove. Oh, I'm a llama. Ah, my hooves. Yeah. Did you wake up with an antler in the middle of your forehead or some shit? You know, went down on the wrong person? Yeah. Discernment. Stop fucking everybody. Alright? You'll be alright. You'll be more alright than going to the clinic and the doctor gets scared and brings in all their students to take photographs because it's the first time they ever seen that shit, and it happens to be your vagina or your penis. Okay? You don't want to be in no textbook, baby. Not unless you're just doing something great. Okay? Don't be in a textbook because you done grew a horn, you know, somewhere on your forehead from going down somebody, or you done grew, you know, a whole, we ain't gonna go there, but you done grew something out your butthole that no one's ever, you know, put, Sasquatch is now unpopular because the shit that they found in your butthole is really an urban legend. Okay? So yeah, watch how you fuck. I love you. Alright.